speaking of Oscar Isaac, because he's actually rumored for some of the Batman roles, but they actually cast the Riddler, Paul Dano. I know you're a fan of him.
Yeah, that was like such a good choice. I didn't even like think about him at all, like because we've had conversations like, oh, who would you cast? But I just never even thought about him. And then once I saw it, I was like, man, what a good choice. Yeah, I'm so happy with that. Um, Even though as you know, and people may know, I always fucking stink on the DCU because it's shit. But that's a good choice they made for this Batman movie. So, uh, little light of hope right there.
I
And
mean,
Jonah Hill, I feel like would have just been a really weird Riddler. Maybe Penguin, but Riddler, I don't know. Even Penguin, like I just feel like Jonah Hill, can't picture him as like a DC
yeah,
villain.
Jonah Hill has like 2 Academy Award nominations, so like that's like me taking a leap of faith that he's a good actor, he'll figure something out. But there's so many things going around that he wanted to play the Riddler. They wanted him for Penguin, and he also wanted to be paid double what Robert Pattinson's being paid to be Batman. He wanted $10 million, and Robert Pattinson's being paid $5 million. So I don't know where you go start. You start.
Yeah, that's kind of ridiculous.
Like,
I feel like, come
offers
on.
like that.
Yeah. Um, Especially like it's Robert Pattinson. Like, no offense to Jonah Hill, but Robert Pattinson, he's also a very he's a good actor. He's been in a lot of like blockbusters and shit too. Um, so yeah, I feel like 5 for each of you is totally fair. But yeah, I feel like Jonah Hill would just be weird. I can't really see him in any of those roles. But Paul Dano, great choice.
And I mean, it's clearly not going to be that. I don't think it's going to be that big of a role. I think all of them are going to have like blonde or glorified cameos, like within the story. So I mean, I'm sure Paul Dano's going to be happy with a $5 million paycheck and not just hold out for an ungodly sum of money.
Yeah, he's a good actor, but he's not in a lot of like he's in a lot of indie stuff. He has been in a lot of big movies too, but he's in a lot of indie
Would you
stuff.
call There Will Be Blood indie, or I mean, that was more of like a commercial movie, but it was low budget.
No, There Would Be Blood. No, I wouldn't say that's very indie, but just like he's in a lot of just like artsy drama movies. But I haven't really seen him in anything like too recently, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, the only big time movie he was actually like probably Prisoners that I can think of. I don't think he's been in like a lot of those showy movies.
He wrote and directed. He wrote and directed, and I think was in it too. But he wrote and directed this movie that came out recently. I forgot what it's called, but yeah, it came out like last year, or maybe within this year. But yeah, he's a good choice for the Riddler. He's got that like look. He's kind of in a lot of the movies he's been in. He plays that like weird, kind of creepy guy. So very good choice.
Yeah, I think the movie you're talking about came out last year's Wildlife. I haven't seen it, but I remember someone actually brought it up, talking about this specific thing.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. That's probably it. Yeah. But great.
Yeah, I don't know where Jonah Hill gets off asking for double the lead character, but yeah, I mean Paul Dano's gonna do a good job. I can't wait to see. I hope they just don't
put too many villains in the movie, like what they did with Amazing Spider-Man 2 or something. Like to just put too many characters, then make it not like I don't know, make sense or cohesive enough.
I mean, it depends on how you
overpopulate the whole movie.
Depends on how you plan to use them, but I know there's six villains that he's going to come across trying to solve a main crime that doesn't necessarily gravitate towards any individual character he meets. He's just looking for information, and it's just like kind of like
so many
introduction. I mean, and then, okay, when I say 6 villains too, it could be Harvey Dent, and not actually Two-Face. I know they said Harvey Dent Two-Face, but he might not even be Two-Face in the movie, meaning he's just supporting cast.
But I feel like if you're just introducing all these like all 6 of these villains in this one movie, it's like eliminating the like the element of surprise in your next Batman movies when you introduce like, oh, Two-Face, or oh, there's Penguin. Like, oh, you're introducing like every villain, all the main villains in one movie. It kind of takes it away from all their future movies that they might make, in my
I mean,
opinion.
it could, and it couldn't. I mean, Batman has like 40 solid. Like, he is probably the best rogues gallery. Like, aside from like Spider-Man, they're both up there. I mean, you could balance out all these characters in a movie and maybe have it lead to something like an Arkham Asylum movie where everything's gonna be thrown at him, and you've met them, and they're gonna possibly do it in a way that, I mean, they're gonna clearly pick good actors for these roles. So
Yeah, exactly. But then it's like you said with Arkham Asylum. Like, you played that game, which was awesome, and you face all these villains and stuff. And then, but in the next games, when you see the same villains, you're just like, oh, okay, it's like it's you again. So like in the movies, you know, if you're introducing all the villain, and if the 6 villains they introduce are probably going to be like his bigger ones, you introduce them all. If you see them again, like, it just takes away from the next movie, and then the next movie they're gonna have to use like some B-list villains that you haven't heard of, or I don't know. I just feel like it's too much. Maybe like 2 or 3,
yeah,
but like all of them, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, casting Paul Dano, I feel like the Riddler is gonna be one of the main ones. He'll probably get quite a bit of time, but like the Penguin could be a mob boss that he comes across looking for some information. Doesn't even necessarily have to be a big character. Two-Face might just be Harvey Dent, which erases the clutter of a bunch of bad guys. And, like, I know Firefly is going to be in it. The movie could open up with him taking someone down just to, like, just set a precedent for, like, his skill set. We saw it in Batman v Superman, him taking out a room of like 17 guys, but they're just thugs.
Yeah, yeah, but
So I mean,
I'm a little more.
if the movie opens up and you take away one of the bad guys immediately, uh, it it narrows down how much clutter you think there might be for a bunch of villains, but also like a guy, Hush is the guy that can mimic someone's face, right? Like, he'll sew together a face that looks like someone.
Right.
So I mean, who knows? Maybe, like, I mean, realistically, if you did Hush in a Batman movie, if someone has a sewn together Riddler face, I think you catch on that it isn't actually the guy who the Riddler is. So it possibly can't just be one guy covering all those characters as like a plot twist. But
Well, I'm assuming, like, since they made this big announcement about the Riddler being cast, I'm assuming the Riddler is going to be, the main villain of the story. But yeah, if they kind of went with the Hush, not the storyline like word for word, but if they took things from Hush, that would be pretty sweet. Or
and I
put him
mean,
in the
they
movie.
have like, I don't know where they're gonna go with it. If they decide that maybe he's getting a bunch of information, it's kind of like a whodunit, then like Hush. I mean, Hush is a possibility, but
But yeah,
like, also Paul
it
Dano being
would.
the Riddler doesn't even necessarily mean he's going to be the main bad guy, because if he's running around trying to solve a crime, I don't necessarily think him being cast first means he's the guy that did it, or it's kind of anticlimactic. You already know that he's looking for the Riddler, unless that's the way they're going to market it, and there's just a bigger thing that has to be solved.
Well, usually when they announce like the casting, like, oh, so and so's Batman, so and so's Catwoman, Riddler. Usually those characters are the ones playing like a prominent role. I'm just assuming.
Yeah, who knows? Not necessarily, but it could be.
Yeah. But I'm a little more excited for it now, going into it.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
mean,
just don't know what to expect, really.
Batman's my favorite superhero, so not even super, but yeah, I find him the most interesting.
Favorite
So
DC
hopefully,
character?
well, I mean, Superman's up there too, but there's something about him being human. He has a few more faults. You can kind of
Superman
relate
is
to a
just
human
like,
being more.
he's just too
Superman,
OP and godly for anyone to say he's my favorite. I don't know.
I mean, I like the way
That's
they do
another
they do
whole
it
other
with Man of
conversation.
Steel. Like even he doesn't like want to be looked at as a god, but he is, and that's what he's dealt.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't necessarily even like the Christopher Reeve Superman. Like, I mean, in its time, I probably would have liked them, but I don't see how people look at Henry Cavill and say that's not my Superman because he's dealing with some heavy shit. Like, especially the murder thing at the end. Like, what are you supposed to do? You want him to not murder just so he can preserve what you think of Superman, but he's gonna let a family of 5 be incinerated in front of him. Like,
Yeah.
I don't see you have no option. They literally wrote it perfectly so that he had no other option. And I
Well,
mean,
that's
I'm
the
pretty sure
thing. They're
he
complaining
killed
about
in
the writing in
Superman 2.
general. They're
I'm
just
pretty sure he
complaining
killed
about the
Zod
writing
in
in general
Superman
because they
2.
made it too dark.
Yeah, no, murder is this big issue with him, but I'm pretty sure he kicked Zod into like a icy hole in the Fortress of Solitude in the Donner cut or whatever. So I mean,
Yeah.
he's murdered. He murdered in their favorite one. So
But
yeah.
I just want a Green Lantern movie, for fuck's sakes.
Actually, I'll just bring it up now. But like these scoopers all over Twitter, one of the more prominent ones, just tweeted a tease of a Green Lantern ring. So maybe something's happening with that. I know they've been writing it for about a year. So you might get
Nice.
what
Yeah,
you
because
wish for.
Batman is your guy. Green Lantern is my dude. He's my favorite DC superhero for sure. And even
I
though I
know when
don't
we
like this
saw
DCU stuff,
I know
I
when we
still
saw
want a Green
Justice
Lantern
League,
movie.
that one scene actually brought a smile to your face.
It did,
Actually,
yeah.
remember, I'm
Seeing
not even
the
gonna call it it's the Justice League. It's not. Zack Snyder did not direct that movie.
uh, yeah, but that scene, that flashback scene or whatever, yeah, that was dope. And you saw the
And
ring just fly off.
the worst part about that flashback scene is that scene was gonna be like 7.5 minutes long. You would have areas with dialogue. Darkseid was gonna be in it, and then it got cut down to like a minute and a half of just random
Not even. It
tidbits.
was like 40 seconds of them,
Yeah,
like
for yeah, actually,
montage of
yeah.
them just fighting.
I just doubled it pretty much.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
But yeah, the only good part of that ass movie.
Comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified.